All right, guys, it's live. Once again, guys, I bring another Q&A. This time we have two people, Kiiro, Sagi, and Unexpected Wonder. Let me let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into it. Go ahead, guys.
Yo, 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 yo. It's your homeboy Kurosaki in the building with UW and Ed. We're about to turn this place up.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Unexpected wonder. Let's just get this thing going.
All right, guys. So we already know what the first category is. So TV or computers?
Computers for me.
At this point, it's clearly computers. TV's lost its significance.
Okay. Fire or water?
Fire or water? That's a good one. Water.
When you break it down, I gotta say they're even because if you break down the qualities of fire, purifying, heat, warm, its destructive capacity. You break down water, you need that for living, as well as fire with cooking. Water, weathers, everything you look it down the line, they're even. That's why they're like they can clash and nothing really happens.
All right. Lunch or breakfast?
Breakfast is more important, but lunch is more enjoyable.
You said lunch or breakfast? uh, I'd say breakfast.
All right. Opie Opie no me or Gumma Gumma no me?
I'll
People
take
want
the I'll take the opie on me.
Gomu Gomu because I think it has. Opie Opie no Me is gonna be hacks as a mug. Don't get me wrong, but I think end of series, if looking at the qualities of rubber and what Oda could do with it, he gonna make that thing so OP it's ridiculous. Being serious, its potential.
Okay. Movies or carnival?
Carnival.
You there, Kiro?
Yeah. Movies.
All right. 4th of July or Christmas?
Hmm.
Christmas.
Christmas.
Okay. The Leaf Village or the Sand Village?
I would actually prefer to actually live in the sand. Surprisingly.
I'll pick the leaf because I'll be safer. You know, the Kaze Kage are generally pretty whack.
That means I have to become strong, like Spartan strong. See, with the leaf, the leaf just has boatloads of internal Like, there's some shady stuff in the leaf, dog. That I don't like.
The Leaf is the United States in the
Yeah, yeah,
Naruto
it's
world.
Koda. Yeah, yeah, Koda. Everything just magically happens around it, but yet they don't conquer anything. Get out of here.
Stairs or elevators?
That's a good one. Stairs, why not?
Stairs slightly. Elevators. See, the thing about it is, elevators. It makes it easier to lift large objects and stuff. But in worst case scenario, you got to take them stairs, man. You ain't trying to get trapped.
This one could
hmm
be uh this next topic could be a neither or it could be both depending on your answer. Um Free will or determinism?
Free will easily. Determinism's problem.
What about determinism?
Like the opposite of free will. Like everything that happens in life. It's pretty
Okay,
much
yeah,
within the name.
it's already determined. Hmm, free will or determinism?
I mean, I do believe in fate, but determinism's like it had to be the just cause. It's almost like a just cause situation.
Yeah, I'll go for what you call it? Free will.
I don't think determinism can be true and jails still exist.
I know. See, my problem with the people. I remember having this discussion in several ways. Is I mean, yes, I do think fate exists, but we don't know fate because we don't see the bigger picture. So that's where free will comes into it. You know what I'm saying? Like if we
Yeah.
saw, say we were omniscient, okay, that would be a different story. We're not omniscient beings.
Yeah. All right. Country or rock?
We're talking about music,
Ooh.
Yeah.
rock, and that's because I mean, I listen to some country too. Don't get it wrong, but I listen to pretty much every rock genre. So yeah, rock.
Mm, I'll pick rock because I don't know. I think like countries are limited in some way.
It is, and I mean
Rock is
you
a bit
have.
more universal.
Yeah, it's the versatility. You bring up a good point. The versatility you have it from this almost like a pop kind of rock thing to all the way to like psychedelic rock to all the way to much harder stuff. So it's versatility. Country can sound alike in a lot of different ways.
All right. Pokemon or DBZ?
But you said
Oh my
Pokemon or
gosh,
DBZ?
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It's not even important. Pokemon. Don't let me get me started with the flaws of Pokemon.
I mean, if it's the games, I'll go Pokemon. If it's TV, anime, manga, I'll stick with Dragon Ball.
See, but even the games, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 though, that game was legit. Dog. Like one of the
Nah, I
greatest
mean,
games ever played.
DBZ has good games. I just prefer Pokemon games.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I think DBZ has better games than the Naruto games, but that's just me though.
they do, cause, oh, that's a whole different discussion.
I kind of know how this one is gonna turn out, but for the sake of argument, I'm gonna just let you guys choose. Naruto, Luffy, or Ichigo?
Monkey D. Luffy for me, but I can explain why.
Wait,
Straw Hat.
well, since it's, I think I'll pick Luffy because I like him the most. But if it's like who's winning in a fight, like a Royal Rumble, I'll go Ichigo.
Well, see, here's the problem with people saying, and I'm not you, Kiiro, but I keep hearing people, "Oh, we haven't seen Ichigo." Yeah, we haven't seen full-blown Luffy either. So I mean, it's retarded. Oh, this potential junk. I mean, potentially end of series if we're gonna go like that, because since Naruto's end of series, Bleach is almost end of series. One Piece is barely over halfway through the series. I mean, it's stupid to me, but. As far as in a character, I think, in all honesty, though, Luffy is the best characterized character amongst them. Developed wise, that's argument's sake, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I prefer Luffy over them.
Okay.
No, yeah, I prefer Luffy as a character, but in terms of like, just like I said, if it was a Royal Rumble, I'll go with Ichigo.
Yeah, Ichigo at this point, Naruto's got this demigod level power up, so that confusion.
Yeah. All right. The last one of this category: Toriyama or Oda?
Oda over Toriyama, but barely.
Yeah, I'll go Oda too.
Okay. All right. Next section: underrated or overrated? All right.
Ooh,
Politics.
neither. Understand them to be able to say either.
Underrated or overrated? Yes, neither.
Video games.
Underrated.
That's a tough one. I think it really depends. Eesh. For example, I would pick I would say, like, first person shooters. They're kind of overrated at this point in time. But what do you call it? At the same time, uh, people do underrate like video games as a whole. Like, people who don't play video games, they see it the wrong way, in my opinion.
Just like anime and manga.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
Okay. NASCAR.
NASCAR.
Point because, and I was actually just talking about this the other day. I love racing, but they need they need like figure race. They need other tracks. If they had other tracks, NASCAR would be so much better because it is good as it is now, but it has its flaws. Let me just put that.
What do you mean by other tracks? Like a different shape?
Yeah, different formation. Like, for example, throwing a bit curves, throwing different turns, throwing a figure eight, throwing like there's other shapes that they could do. The Formula One does that. The Le Mans and all that jazz. They do that. All just left turns for 200. Man, I know it's 200 miles an hour and you got to stay, focused. But for 200 some laps, me just making left turns the entire time. I'm sorry, that'd be a little bit more. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. All right. The system in which we live.
What?
The system, quote unquote.
Which system? I don't understand the question.
You mean like the government? Is that what you mean by system?
Yeah.
Hell, Ed already knows some of my views on that.
I think it depends on where you live, really. It depends on which government.
You said it depends on where you live?
Yeah, it depends on which government you have.
All governments are overrated and unnecessary. Cause more harm than do good.
All right. Social anxiety.
What? What?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Social anxiety.
I think it's overrated.
I don't even quite understand what I'm answering to. Social anxiety. I don't. What?
People have who claim to have social anxiety, like they can't speak or with people or whatever the case may be.
Well, that I see it every day, so I'm not surprised by it. But it's overrated in the fact of how people they abuse the term and don't properly understand it. Because there are some people who legitimately face an issue. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people, of course, they abuse the term and misuse it, so that the people who actually face the problem don't get the help that they need.
Right. Board games.
Underrated as can be, man.
Yeah, I think they're definitely underrated in like this day and age.
Okay. Hipsters.
I mean, ain't nothing personal, but I don't vibe with the whole hipster lifestyle, man. Never have. It goes against.
But I mean, people don't really rate hipsters. It's just like a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the lifestyle. It's not the person. You should never see. That's the issue that I think we face a lot of times, whether it be dealing with situations with homosexuality, Christianity, you name it. People, it should be about the lifestyle and not the person. You shouldn't attack the person. You should be talking about the lifestyle. That's something I cannot stress enough.
All right. City buses.
They're good. Oh man, they have so many pros and cons, man. I can't speak on that one.
City
What about
bus.
you, Kiiro?
I think it's kind of underrated at some point. Public transport in general, I would say.
If we said public transportation, we can go underrated. But city buses can be so problematic, but they're so beneficial too. So.
Unexpected is not trying to get his money rejected tomorrow.
Five of us, like I just have experiences, so it's it's rough.
Rain.
Rain is massively underrated, but problematic.
Well, you said reading?
Rain.
Rain. Again, people don't really rate rain, but I guess I would say it's underappreciated. I guess so underrated in some sense.
That just tells me, well, shoot, if you know agricultural, you know how important it is. If you know water and whatnot, people massively underrated though. They really do. People like, oh, rain, oh, that's just damp on my day. Yo, why does it have to rain? But then, fires. Oh, where's the rain at?
Yeah, I think in nature in general is just like underappreciated because the first thing we think of is technology. When we wake up and when we're about to sleep, we think just everything technology really.
And I was talking about this the other day. It's that's one of the issues I have. One of the reasons I'm against civilization. It's this view that technology, like we've evolved. This is a side note, but it's like this whole thing about evolution. People think that, oh, humans have evolved because we have this quote unquote greater technology. No, we haven't. We're the same, if not worse, than we were in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sliced bread.
Underrated. Because I mean, if you've ever bought like an unsliced loaf and you've had to slice each slice yourself, you'd know how time consuming that is. And you know, time is something that is a very, very valuable resource that we do underrate.
Good point. I was just thinking underrated just because bread, try to go, I don't think people understand this. Try to go a day, just a day, without eating bread or eating any kind of green substance. You'd be shocked at the find how many things involve bread.
True.
All right. Smartphones.
Overrated.
Underrated.
Okay, why do you think they're underrated?
I think they're underrated, and I definitely understand why people would say they're overrated. But do you understand the advantages? Like, I have one. I'm using one currently to talk, right? Smartphones as compared to, let's just say, drop it back 5 years. Let's take it back 5 years and remember how phones used to be as opposed to now. These are mini computers. And in certain cases, or actually in a lot of cases, I get better internet connection with my phone than I do with my computer. Like, I can do so many things with a smartphone. Now, they do come with their cons, obviously. But I don't think people, it's just like you said earlier, wake up, we just have technology. You lose that. Man, it changes life, dog. It really does.
Okay, so your standpoint is more of a lot of people don't appreciate like how sophisticated the technology is.
Absolutely.
I can vibe with that. My stance on the overrated thing is, people worship smartphones like they can't use a regular phone to call, and like even if they do have a smartphone, they buy a new one each year. So if the one they already have, it's like all of a sudden it's useless.
That goes into a whole different consumeristic, materialistic problem, ideologically, to be honest with you. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying. They don't value what they have. Now, if it's broken or lost, that's a different story. But you're just buying it to keep up with the Joneses, just to keep up with the trend. That's just stupid. And this, you can see this across society and culture in general.
Yep. It's funny. It's kind of like it's both, because on one hand they underrate the value of what they have and they get a new thing, and the second time, they overrate the new thing, but the next year they underrate the new thing that they just got and get the next new thing. It's crazy.
And how many times is the new one? I've heard people say about phones time and time again. The phone was lesser value. Not absolute upgrade from the phone before, obviously, like the iPhone 6 as opposed to iPhone 5. I'm talking about another make and model was not even better than the old one, like the old what you just had.
No, even then, between an iPhone 6 and an iPhone 5, one generation isn't that bad. Like if you're using the first iPhone, I can kind of get where you're coming from, or the second one, something like that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you have damn near the same features, just one is slightly more powerful. One has a better camera. That's the main difference, really, because all iPhones can use, all the Apple apps for the most part. That's just a simple example.
I've said that time and time again, though.
It's kind of like if you got a new laptop every year, or you moved into a new house every year just because you want a new one. It makes no sense to me.
Cars, same way. Appliances.
Exactly. Cars are a very good example. Nobody buys a new car every year. I mean, no one that's like no regular person does that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, robots in the sense of like our smartphones, and I think I heard recently that a lot of factory workers are going to be fired because they're bringing in these new machines, quote unquote robots.
So I guess you're saying like artificial intelligence and sophisticated programming, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's underrated. Like people don't realize it's just technology in general. Like people don't realize, what the power that we have. They sleep on it.
This is just the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing we were dealing with ever since the quote unquote, the first industrial revolution way back in the day. It's a very, I don't think you can. This is one where you can give a true rating for, unless you go the technology as a whole. And technology isn't. People think of technology, they think of like computers and stuff. No, technology is fire. Technology is stairs. That's the income plane. That's the wheel. Technology. Human applicable tools, pretty much. But as far as in robots, I don't think we've even come close to achieving robots. So,
Yeah. All right. Now time for our discussion. We said this already before, but I don't know if you guys want to shed light on it. It was the whether or not color is objective or subjective. Do you guys want to shed some light on your position?
Like, it's funny because it really depends on what you mean by color. Like, do you mean red, blue, green? Like, somebody might see something else that's red.
Yeah.
You see
Like the rainbow. For example,
yeah.
if 5 people stand and look at the rainbow, is it objective or subjective?
If 5 people what?
he said if 5 people look at the rainbow, is subjective or objective. Now, my view, if I were to give it, is that we're asking the wrong question. The question should be, does red exist? That should be the question. We're talking about essence. That should be the question. I think red, whatever red is, now, here's the problem. problem when it comes to subjectivity versus objective, because I do think there's an objective red. I think there's an objective whatever you X-ray. You know, there's stuff beyond the visible light spectrum. Okay, but the problem is when it comes to the viewer's own interpretation of the events. That's where the subjectivity comes in, and I don't think that people understand that. It's not that there isn't, because I do believe there's objective truths. I do believe there's absolutes and universals. It's just someone's personal interpretation. That's where they become subjective.
What about dogs who can't see colors that we see? Is that color, does it exist to them?
No, to them it doesn't.
Yeah, to them it doesn't. That doesn't negate. See, this kind of goes back to the subject of, say, God or something. Okay, whether it be God, whether it be the supernatural, and I was actually having a discussion a little bit on Facebook with Blitz about this, and giving them a different light to look at the supernatural. We don't see in this realm of, say, this physical realm, we don't see technically the supernatural. But does that mean that organic beings on a different plane of existence don't exist? Just because we can't.
It's a good example. The fourth dimension, we can't. You know, we really can't experience it, and it's really hard, if not impossible, to imagine. Because imagination is generally based on like already existing ideas, just, you know, sort of combined stuff. And like, you know, a circle can't imagine what a cube is like a circle on paper. And, you know, likewise, we can't imagine a fourth dimension, but that doesn't mean that doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure fourth dimension exists scientifically. Like, I think it's been mentioned a bunch of times.
It depends on which one you mean, if it's time or a different one. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, dimensional things, it's like I've said this before. This is why I believe, for example, the existence of whether it be a God or something along those lines, a higher power, whatever, or even flight. Think about flight. Humans can only imagine what they deem possible. Really. If we deem something impossible, we literally, our minds don't imagine it. To your point, Kiiro.
Several hundred years ago, flight was thought of as something that could never be achieved. I'm sure they probably said fly. What does that mean? We can't fly to other places. We gotta take boats.
No, UW. Here's something interesting about imagination, right? Is that imagine generally based on already existing memories and stuff like that. Like, it's really hard, if not impossible, to imagine something you've never experienced, or something that isn't composed of other things. So that's why when we look at mythical beasts and stuff, it's usually like a combination of other animals and stuff like that. Like, it's really hard, if not impossible, to come up with a brand new animal on the spot that has, you know, that's completely unique. Like, it doesn't have like the leg of something else, or eyes resembling something else. It's like really hard, if not impossible.
See, it's not that it's impossible. That goes more towards association. Language, trying to explain to something else. For example, the Book of Revelation. People get all up, blah, blah, blah. Well, think about it. You're seeing visions of something millennia in the future. How are you supposed to explain this to the people of that day? You understand what I'm saying? For example. But you were talking about flight. Now, flight was thought of because you have birds and other creatures that could fly. It's just humans thought after a few attempts that they couldn't do it because of various reasons, you know. Yeah. But we knew it was possible because we see it was possible. It's just making humans do it. Now, that made me impossible, you know.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I wonder, like, because that's one of the discussion topics, which was science and religion. Like, how do you feel about this battle that's going on between people of both sides, and even science and spirituality? Because there's some people who are atheists who believe in science and stuff like that. Not to say that that's wrong, but they shut down any thought of, huh?
Oh, yeah, you're saying spirituality. I mean, first of all, there's a bunch of ignorance. that this whole science versus religion is this false media. I will say it's a media-driven problem, because if you talk like I do to people, you never hear this come up. You never hear the problem ever come up, except when people are influenced by the media. Now, you could go into different reasons as to why it is, but the whole thing about science and faith and spirituality and everything, number one, what a lot of people, they don't understand philosophy. Science, at least the current view of science, is a derivative of mathematics, and mathematics is based upon philosophy. Because if you break things down to their essence, to their very being, mathematics doesn't exist. It doesn't. It's simply humans being able to make an understanding, or try to make an understanding of the perceived world and universe around us. That's all science is. That's all mathematics are. They can't answer the real questions about life. Okay? They'll answer maybe a little bit of hows and whatnot, but they can't answer the whys. They can't deal with value judgments. They can't deal with absolutes or negatives. They just can't. That's in the very essence of science. Science, whenever, and here's a problem that people don't understand. Anytime you go into reason, logic and reason, anytime you deal with stuff along those lines, you're beyond science. So a lot of the issues that people have with science can either, for example, disprove nor prove the existence of a God. So science, in that case, is pretty much irrelevant unless you're trying to give natural proof, for lack of a better word.
Well, one thing about science is, there's contradictions in science, and a lot of science is based on theories that aren't, a confirmed fact.
Yeah, there is.
That's why
science.
That's why facts keep changing, because scientists have found something brand new, that there's a problem with this established fact that we had a while ago. Like they didn't tried to disprove the EMC2 thing like a bunch of times. Also, we have string theory and that other theory. Like the problem with those two is if one exists, the other cannot. And those are like the two main theories behind quantum physics. So there's all tiny, contradictions and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to back up to your point even more, I remember, people get it twisted. Some may get it twisted because I'm so critical of science. I'm so critical of science because I love it. And the reason, if you know mathematics, you know physics, they say that the black hole, the center of a black hole, totally screws up both physics that we know of, the regular whatever physics, and also quantum mechanics, aka quantum physics. The center of a black hole defies both of them, and I laugh because it just shows how little we really know. We don't know. Really, we don't know jack when it comes to the bigger scheme of things. So taking that little, and since you brought up, quote unquote science and religion, taking that finite knowledge that is so minuscule, and yet trying to say, oh, there can't be, or there likely isn't a God or a supreme being, a higher beings, whatever you want to me, it's just ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous. It's asinine, and it's like you don't want to know. You really don't.
Yeah. All right. The placebo, is it psychological or physical?
Both. It's both.
Yeah. There's both. Well, technically, it all boils down to the brain. Everything is kind of linked to the brain in some way. However, you can evoke involuntary responses that aren't necessarily think they are. Like that's why they have that thing at the doctor where it's like they bring out a tiny hammer and they smack you on your knee, and they expect a reaction. You know, that's an involuntary reflex. So that's sort of like I guess you could call it a placebo for the muscle or whatever.
I mean, one of the key points, because I actually made a video a while back, 10 dimensions, and I think the last dimension we'll learn, talking about dimensions, is the mind, the human mind. Until we're able to understand really at all how the human mind, I'm not talking about the brain, because people get that twisted. The human mind is not the brain. They are not the same. The brain is just a bunch of gray matter that goes on electrical impulses. If we can make it basic, rudimentary. The mind is a whole completely different animal. Until we're able to
hold
do
that
that,
thought, you dub, hold that thought, because we're gonna come back to this. That's gonna be our last discussion topic. But our second to last discussion topic is: do you think society today could live in a world with no government or money?
not as it currently is, because too many people are brainwashed, programmed, and indoctrinated. They're made to believe they need government. And there's many more reasons as to why we cannot currently live it.
What about you, Kiiro?
That's tough. I think we right now we do need the government. But I do think like there is like how they put this. The government's kind of overrated in some sense. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Okay. All right. So the last discussion topic was consciousness, and just to go back to what your dub was saying, he could go back to his your point on the mind versus the brain, and try to incorporate consciousness. What is it? Where do we get consciousness from?
Well, consciousness, it depends on what you mean. I think I actually talked about that in the video I was referring back to. Human consciousness, that's what I was referring more to than just the mind. And consciousness is weird because there's 3 different types of it. Depends on what level we're talking about. Consciousnness, for example, could simply be that the body is functioning. It's actually living, quote unquote living. There's one. Consciousness at a second level, which most people function at. They don't understand this. Most people function at this level is to where we're able to function normally. Quote unquote normally human function. You up and about, you're moving, you're eating, you're thinking, kind of. You're doing day-to-day living operation. That's the second level. The third level of consciousness is actually thinking at more or less a philosophical questioning. Well, why do I do things? Why does this happen? Should this happen? Who am I? So it depends on what level of consciousness we're talking about. You understand? Consciousness is simply awareness. If we're going to make it simplified.
True.
Right. So, what about you, Kiiro?
Yeah, so consciousness is awareness. I agree with that.
Back to what you done. Do you want to finish your point on the brain and the mind?
Oh yeah, I mean one of the things in psychology, my issue. I mean I like psychology, science, but I don't think it'll ever really fully answer the question. I mean I don't try to overhype philosophy, but I know Ed, you've taken philosophy, so you can understand where I'm getting at. Psychology will never be able to answer the real questions because it only can deal with the physical, and the physical is so very limited when it comes to humans. For example, I had this, once again, this discussion between to bring this to anime and manga, but it'll prove my point. the whole Luffy situation and being able to fire one last attack. A lot of people have a problem with it. They say it's a knockable power up and asshole and all these other nonsense things. When in reality, it makes a bunch of sense given the character of Luffy, number one, and given number two, the situation in which he was fighting in. The situation was they had both fired off all of their best attacks. They were both done. Luffy, he needed one last push because he was trying to protect Robin and all that thing. He saw his friend Usopp, who, he thought was gone, and this dude gave him, he's like, yo, Luffy, finished your job, finished the objective. And Luffy was able to get up one more time, which he's done throughout the entirety of the series, and mentally he was able to push through the barrier, even though physically he thought he was unable to do that. I've done that, for example, one time in football, where it was an overtime game, and, it was getting to that point. I literally, physically, I couldn't move anymore. I was barely able to stand. I don't even know how I was standing. If it was not for pure will and whatever, I shouldn't have been able to stand. So even moving, I don't know how I was able to do it. So the human mind's able to overcome physical limitations.
My thing with the whole Nakama power thing with Luffy versus Red Blue Jay, right? Right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, my thing about it is, like, he technically already beat them. That's the first thing. So it's not that bad. And the second thing is, like you said, it was more of just a morale boost, really. He didn't become stronger by any means.
There was no power up. There was already pre-established abilities that he's already been using throughout the fight. Where is the power up coming from? I don't get it.
Yeah. To end this discussion, one last question. If you went to sleep tonight and you woke up, what anime world would you want to be in after you wake up?
That's hard because I'm actually gonna do discussions on world survivability. Actual world? Kiiro, you got anything? Because I'm not. I'd actually have to think about that one for real though.
So
I don't know.
what world would I rather be in?
I'd rather wake up.
Wake up in.
Okay, some worlds are horrible. None of them are really good. I'm not even gonna front. If we want to be real, none of them are really good worlds to wake up in.
Yeah, I mean, they all have problems. That's like the main reason why they have villains, isn't it? No, it would have to be something like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or something like that.
I wouldn't even want to wake up in them.
Nah, they ain't that bad.
It's not that they're bad, but actually being relevant in the world. If I had to choose, since we were talking about, bringing them up, I mean, if I had to choose, possibly, this is off of, without thinking of all of them, possibly Beyblade, actually. Possibly. I'm not talking about the new crap. I'm talking about the original trilogy. Okay, not that new crap. The Metal Saga crap they try to sell us. No. That world was legit. Okay.
I think if we play it safe, we'll just have to go to a series that's to play it safe. Because any other series besides
even that's not. I mean, even Slice of Life. If you look at the reason it was so hard, because if you look at a lot of those, well, hell, I could go Holy Land too, either Holy Land or Beyblade. But a lot of the Slice of Life ones, they got a lot of kids with problems in there. Like they're mental. Like you got a lot of head cases over there.
Yeah. I mean, just to play it safe, I guess I'll choose that is it.
Yo, crocodile. Yo, hey, you got a good point. Crocodile basket is legit. But I mean, you have monsters up in there, dog. Like, them dudes are too legit. So I don't know. I ain't trying to get the one French treatment in the Takeo arc. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yo, he said he didn't want to play anymore. He like, this.
All right, guys. Ending this off. Any final words?
Yeah, that's a very hard question because it.
Final words. Subscribe to my channel.
Any final words? Thanks for having. This was really fun. Anytime, and until next time, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah. My final answer was Kirk in the basket because I can't think of anything else. All right.